Our next video is gonna be diving into some drama. I was curious when I seen it scrolling through YouTube. I was like, huh? Called Why I Considered Divorcing My Husband. And all I could think of was the shoe on head video. And I was like, oh god. I was like, oh no, what's the reason this person is considering divorcing their husband? What, they didn't take out the trash? Or they let the dishes pile up for a couple of days? Oh no. That's what I'm expecting. 100% that's what I'm expecting. Yeah, did he give you the ick? Did he order a friggin' fat frappuccino at Starbucks?
A woman is going massively viral online right now with her TikTok titled Why I Considered Divorcing My Husband. It's got 66 million views, and
wow.
Of course everybody has something to say about it. They're coming after her, they're supporting her, they're saying her husband should leave her, no, she should leave her husband. It's
oh god, okay.
Mess. I haven't seen the entire video, so I'm going to blind react right now for you guys and see what I think about it. But here's her video titled Why I Considered Divorcing My Husband.
We are reacting.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for?
Okay, wait. What's the difference between on paper being those things and actually being those things? That's question number 1. Wait a second.
I also have the same question.
Okay, if you say your husband, he's got a great personality, he's loyal, he's hands-on with the kids, he gets stuff done, what are we talking about divorce? Why is divorce even in our lexicon right now? I think that's like, way, 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 way off as an outlier in regard to what you would do with this relationship, especially when you have children. I can understand being married to somebody and maybe they're meeting some of the needs on paper and everything sounds good, whatever that means, and going, maybe this is not the right person for me. And I think a lot of women are having those discussions
so maybe she means like, oh, on paper, he's all of these things, so like I should be happy, but for some reason I'm not. I don't get it. Because like, yeah, what's the difference? What do you mean? Like, on paper he's perfect. You're the one writing the paper, so what do you mean? I'm sure this video will help me with my fear of relationships. Yeah, just like the shoe on head video did. Yeah. Ketsuya, I said it for the fart one, because that was the one that was getting spammed the most. But if I need to set a cooldown on the other ones, then I will as well. And if it's not a long enough cooldown, I will do it. The reason is she's just a miserable person. Yep, that could also be true. That could also be true. Spam anything that's not fart. No. No.
Internally and maybe making the jump towards divorce, which I will still say is a huge jump. But once kids are in the picture, if you can actively admit that you have a husband who's great on paper or who is hands-on and good with kids, why is the word divorce even floating around in your head at all? Make that make sense to me. I don't know.
But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night, When we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day, when you
How? So what? So what if he asks you? At least he's helping you make it. What? What? Marriage is not something that you should be burnt out from as a rule? No. No. Marriage is a commitment that you choose to make every single day. Yep, marriage is long haul. Hell yeah. Oh my god. I find it amusing how so many women who had such picture perfect husband boyfriends and then threw them away because of stupid petty reasons. Yeah, honestly. Oh my god, he asks me what to make for dinner every night. Never mind the fact that he's helping me make the dinner though. So I don't get it. I don't get the problem with that. I mean, would it be nice if he could come up with an idea for dinner? Sure. But it's not, the end of the world.
drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said,
So make
okay,
him
just
a
tell me
list.
what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so,
Okay.
of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up.
So what?
And I went to put something in the trash, and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle, and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late for work. And
who cares? Let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You know what? I'm sorry. Just yes, it's frustrating if it gets forgotten, but nobody's perfect. Send them the quick reminder, whatever, it doesn't matter. Is it stopping your whole day because the garbage is overflowing? No. No. Just shove that shit in there. Text him, hey, the garbage is overflowing. When you get home, can you take it out? Love you. And go on about your day. The end. Not that big of a deal, man. It's not that big of a deal. Because he forgot to do something out of routine. She's scared to have a family. Yeah, like, oh man, I don't know, man. Like, and then what? And then if she forgets something though, then it's okay. Then it's okay. Venting on TikTok instead of talking your stuff out with your husband is the reddest of flags. Honestly, communication is always the biggest problem. Always. Instead of talking to the person that you should be talking to, which is your spouse, everyone will talk to everyone else and then have a whole story of why they shouldn't be together anymore. Meanwhile, all they probably needed to do was just talk about it together. Hello, animal, welcome in! Welcome in! Of course, it's okay if she forgets something because she does everything, apparently. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Also, a stay at home mom is a job. You just don't get paid for it. It's a very, very thankless job. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. Your kids aren't your kids surely are not thanking you and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of times where yeah, the mom is having a lot more pressure on her and all that stuff. But there are times as well, like, I don't know, just this situation to me is just her needing to understand that nobody's going to be perfect. He is not going to remember every single day to do it, or or as he said, he was running late for work, so maybe he'll just do it later. Just learn to let it go. Learn to let it go, because it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. It's not. You're gonna forget things too, and I don't know. That's my opinion on what she's saying so far. Talking about it with people you know is one thing, I can understand that. Yakking about it at strangers is concerning. True. Very true. I have watched videos on YouTube of people who are talking about women who had kids and became miserable, and way too many have said it's because their husband wasn't helping them. Little to not at all. They love their children. They just weren't expecting to be married single moms. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't really know, but I know even without kids, um everyone's different. Everyone's going to do things at their own pace. So you can't expect your spouse, significant other, whatever, even roommates, you can't expect someone else to do things the way you do it, first of all, and secondly, at the same pace that you do it. You might have a routine where you get up, um you go instantly take out the trash and do the dishes, but and then so then you ask your spouse, "Oh, hey, can you take out the trash and do the dishes for me for the next week?" But maybe their routine is a little different. They don't do the dishes in the morning. Maybe they wait till they get home to do that. And then if you sit there being like, "Oh my god, you didn't do what I asked, blah 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 blah," they're just going to be like, "Well, cuz I was going to do it when I get home." Something a lot of people don't understand is that love changes how it feels over time, and you always need to be working at it in your relationship, especially in marriage. It's not always butterflies in the stomach. No, the honeymoon phase will end. Things will kind of just merge into this feeling where it's just kind of normal. And then you're gonna be like, well, why isn't exciting? Why is it not exciting anymore? Do I not love them? No. It's just that now this is your normal life. It's normal.
And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone.
Okay, there's a lot going on here. And at first I want to talk about like what I can understand. I can understand not wanting to have to like beat somebody over the head with something that you're asking for at any given moment and constantly have to remind, and you feel like you're doing all this work while he's just, I don't know what, skating by. Although that's not how she seemed to describe her husband. She said he's a good father. She said he's very hands-on. I'm sure he has his own tasks. I wonder what are maybe things that he would be asking of her that she's not following through on, or does she not have that expectation of anything to be asked of her because what she seems to be doing with the kids and the diaper bag and the trash. I will say, with the examples that she's given, none of these examples seem big enough at all, even if we're branching them out over time to warrant a conversation about divorce. I mean, there might be some...
Yeah, same thing for me. Like, I don't know, like, it still doesn't really warrant a divorce. She would have this same thing happen with any other person. It would happen. Who's mowing the lawn, who's doing the yard work, who's fixing stuff around the house. That, yeah, slasher, yeah, that's a good point too. Maybe she's not looking at that stuff. Maybe she's so focusing inwards on herself that she's not noticing the stuff that he is doing. That, being completely honest, it it almost sounds like a lot of the complaints that I was having a couple years back, where I would have to ask Jello to do things. I would have to remind him and this and that, blah blah blah. And yes, it's frustrating sometimes. But in the long run, I ended up learning, like, sometimes I do still get frustrated, but like in the long run, I've I've just learned it's not that big of a deal. It's just not that big of a deal. Like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought for some reason, because it's just not that big of a deal. Who's unclogging the toilet? I meant like the moms that become moms and then are like, I love my kids and would die for them, but also don't have kids. Oh, okay. 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 Yeah, the ones that are like, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating being a single mom, and I love my kids, but make sure you think about it a lot. Yes, yes, yes. Love has never been exciting. It's about putting effort and work on the relationship, for and helping and making it work for someone you truly care and love. Yep. I mean, love can be exciting in the beginning, and it can be. But over time it becomes normal, and yeah, something that you have to work at, something you put effort into. 100%. Improvising, yep. Compromising. A lot of compromising. Hoshi, if you tell us to do something, we will do it. You don't have to remind us every 6 months. Damn, 6 months? Wow. I dread the day when I have to be the one to change the kids' diapers. Oh, I have changed enough diapers in my life. I'm good. I'm good. I think there are some things that people can let up on, and other things that are just don't put up with that shit, if that makes sense. Um, I know what you mean. For me personally, like, having to remind about the laundry or dishes, or like, hey, you forgot to take out the trash. For me, those are mundane things. They're annoying to have to do reminders and whatever. But it's not something that I can't put up with. For someone else it might be different. Maybe someone else would maybe someone else would divorce someone over that. But for me, no. It's not worth it. Cuz it's a very likely thing to happen in another relationship. So it's like, what's the point? I divorced this one because they kept forgetting to take the trash out. Now I'm with someone else who keeps forgetting to take the trash out. Then there's people like me with problems like ADHD, where if I'm not asked or plan ahead intensely, I will straight up not do it because of my executive dysfunction. Yeah, and I mean, same thing with that, right? Some people uh would be fine handling that and giving reminders and stuff, and others wouldn't want to deal with that. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong really with either side. It just matters what you can handle. Oh, she started stream late divorce? No. There is no divorce. I think reminders are fine, but if your partner keeps going, yeah, I'll do it, and then they are still never doing it, or they say, why can't you just do it constantly to the point they are never doing it because you always have to end up doing it or it'll literally never get done. Yeah, see, that's a little bit different. That's different. If they're saying, yeah, I'll do it, and then they forget, that's one thing. If they're saying, if they actually like turn it around and be like, well, why can't you just do it? Well, no, because I asked you to do it, so. Yeah, no, I don't play that game. If I ask Jello to do something and he says yes, I will do it, and he forgets, and then I ask him again, well, he doesn't really hit me with the, well, why don't you just do it anymore? Because I tell him no, because I asked you to do it. And the same, if he asks me to do something and I forget, I don't throw the, you just do it. Nope. Because you asked me to do it. So that's why I can't just do it. That's why. Okay.
Pretty strong sit downs about how we divvy everything up and how we get them done. But divorce, again, is a very big word, especially when we have children involved. Now, his example or her example about the trash not being taken out and he said, I'm late for work. If I was talking to my man and I go, hey, I did ask you to, take the trash out and
Be
you
late
didn't
for
do
work
that this morning. Can you let me know why you didn't do that? And he says, I'm late for work. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
you have
really.
To get to work. Like, what? What is
you
the issue?
prefer him
And she
be
says,
late?
now, this
Like-
has made me late for work, is her retort back to him. So now we're both late for work, when really my husband just should have been late to work and he should have taken out the trash and taken that extra time to be late for his job so that I'm not late to mine.
Okay, no. You don't do it for him because he forgot. You leave it there and let him do it when he gets home. What? That's crazy to me. Wow.
Well, I'm looking into this woman's background to see like what is her job. Apparently she works from home. At least that's what people on Twitter have seemed to find out about her.
She works from
and I'm trying to
home.
figure out what is this job that she is working from home so that I can figure that out. It says right here, Connell works from home, so in the mornings and after the workday, she's back on childcare duty. Her husband's work as a utility lineman means he can't work from home, and he's often called for storm duty. So yeah, I have a feeling we don't want hubby to be late for work. I'm also looking at her TikTok page, and she has this link that you can go to that has like her work, and it's her talking about the mental load, which is of course the very basis of this video and why she was thinking of divorcing her husband, because of the mental load that he puts on her. And she has one-on-one consultations.
How was she late to work for taking out the trash that he forgot if she works from home? What? What? He's a lineman. He has an extremely hard job and a dangerous job. Oh my gosh. I like how this whole thing just did a whole complete, like, freaking 180 now that we learned that she works from home and he's a lineman. What? What? Oh my gosh. She may be working remotely for someone else or late to a client. I mean, true. But then still my point stands where, like, okay, just leave the trash for him to do later. What? Oh my god. Yeah, a lineman. What is a lineman? Yep, they install, maintain, and repair electrical power and telecommunication lines. Oh, wow, yeah, so on those big electrical cords as you're driving around, holy shit. Yeah. Wow.
Where you can hire
Okay.
her and speak with her for 1 hour, one-on-one, to break down your unique challenges with the mental load, create a tailored approach for starting the conversation with your partner, and troubleshooting obstacles like defensiveness or feeling unheard, where she will charge you $250 to have this 1 hour discussion with her. So I'm gonna guess that that's the work that she would have been late for in having to take out the trash because her husband didn't do so because he was late to being a lineman. Again, I don't know. This is a legend. This is according to the internet. So I don't know if that's true, but boy, are things not looking good for her if this does happen to be true. And again, that does not negate the fact that it can be frustrating to consistently ask somebody to do a specific task and not have that task be done. But it doesn't sound like he's not doing these things out of malice or a hatred or not hearing her or not wanting to see her or not wanting her life to be easy. It seems
Yeah, he's not doing it on purpose, I would imagine. Like, we don't know his side of the story. So she's a stay-at-home mom who runs a business. Yep. Pretty much turns out to be what the situation is. Which, okay, granted, if you work from home, yes, you still work. But I think if you work from home, it's still more fair if you do a little bit more of the housework because you are working from home. That's my opinion. You guys might think differently, that's fine. But in my opinion, if you're working from home, even with kids, and your significant other, wife or husband, is the one who goes out to work, the stay-at-home, the work-from-home partner should take on a little bit more of the housework. Because, I mean, you're home, so. And you're not going out and doing friggin' terrifying work like the lineman. Holy shit. Something I want nothing to do with. And I'm an iron worker. I walk around on steel in the sky. Oh my god, that is... I could never. I would die, literally, because I'm scared of heights. Her husband is working 12-hour days at the very least. Yeah, and he's on call for, like, storms and stuff. Modern trad wife, as one income often isn't enough, but the wife is still somewhat traditional, so she found another way to contribute money. Yeah. Cough, OF, cough. Like, for Jello and I, as an example, Jello's now working full-time. However, because... And I work full-time too, but I also stream pretty much full-time, sort of, at this point. So I basically... We count it as I have almost 2 full-time jobs. He has 1 full-time job. So, you know, Jello does take care, still, of a bit more housework than I do. But I do contribute my fair share now as well. Like, I took on doing the dishes and stuff since he started working full time. And I'm the one that, like, orders our groceries and whatever. Back to the video.
It's like other things in his life that make his life difficult are getting in the way of him performing these specific tasks. So maybe we chill out and don't start talking about divorce. I don't know.
And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, She's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes,
Okay.
the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work.
I mean,
They
yeah,
just do.
okay.
They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience. And
You know what? I don't entirely disagree uh with her. I I feel like it is more common still that women do have a higher load of, housework. Really, like I don't know. I don't entirely disagree with what she is saying. I just don't think it's worth a divorce. And I mean, obviously her and her husband worked it out, so that's fine. I'm interested what his side of the story would be. Cuz I don't like to judge her too much. Like I don't want to shit all over her really. I I would like to know what his side of the story is. There it is. If mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. So you know what it means for him to be a good dad, but you clearly have no idea what it means to be a good mom or wife. Yeah, like she's very inwardly thinking on herself as she's saying all of this. Now, she said that her and her husband worked it out, so that's good. That's good. But again, I would love to know what his side of the story is. Maybe he was just as miserable. Maybe he felt the same way where he was like, "Oh, well, I'm doing everything." And they were both sitting there together being miserable thinking, "Well, I'm the one doing everything." So all they needed to do was talk to each other and communicate and figure out the problem. I don't want to shit all over her, but dear Lord, she's kind of selfish. It sounds like they worked it out means he worked on it. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? We're only getting her side of the story, so of course it's going to sound like that. I can also see where she's coming from with the free time thing since they do have multiple kids, but that should take up both of their time. Yeah, yep. Yep, exactly. Like this is something where you work together and you figure out like, okay, I'll take care of the kids at this time so you can have a bit of free time, and then you take care of them so I can have free time. Or and then, sometimes we both spend this time together with them so then we can have time together. Like it's like it's like very complicated. Very, very complicated. Maybe you don't have 4 kids if you're not able to handle some trash or not put away. Yeah, 4 kids is a lot. 4 kids is a lot. Yeah, time management skill issue. Yeah, it's definitely needing to work together for a time management thing. I wish we could like go interview her husband. I agree with you on wanting to know both sides of the story, but at the same time, I know people who love to claim that they are doing everything or always do XYZ, and damn well as hell no they heck not. No, they heck they're not doing it. Yep. Yep. Because in some people's mind, um having 3 tasks is a lot for them, versus for you having 3 tasks isn't a lot. Maybe you can handle doing 5 tasks. So then you get all in your head and then you just get mad at each other instead of talking. You know what I mean? So it's like it's complicated. So so like yeah, like you know, I feel myself the initial reaction to her rant here is like, "Oh my gosh, you're actually like gonna divorce him over this, blah blah blah, whatever, rage and this and that." But if I sit here and I logically think about it, you know, this is her side of the story. Yeah, she does feel overwhelmed. She feels this, she feels that. But what is his side of the story too, so that we can now look at both of your stories and figure out where the miscommunication is here. I'll give her credit for taking care of the kids in the morning. That's a lot to handle first thing after you wake up. Yeah, true. Very true.
I want people to know that there's hope and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is she
What is
clickbaiting
his
us?
side?
I just don't know what's going on in this whole thing. I mean, her husband, based on her own description, sounds really wonderful. And she's saying that she was thinking about divorce because of this mental load. Does that mean that she was sitting, marinating on all these things and jumping to divorce before even having this conversation with her husband?
Yes.
And she says, as soon as I told my husband that this was going on, we did decide to have an at-length conversation where we divvy up things. And it took about 18 months to sort of figure everything out. But we ended up figuring it out. So why would you even be threatening this man with divorce? Secondly, why are you airing out the dirty laundry of your marriage online right now for all to hear? And I have a feeling the answer is so that she can sell one-on-one consultations with other wives to have this conversation so that they can go and do the very same thing to their husband. And we've spoken about this on this show for quite some time. This is going to be the new reality for relationships, and there's a lot of reasons why, but a reason that she hones in on in this video is because she is a mother of 4 kids who is also working full time. If I found myself in this dynamic...
Okay, but the counter to that is he is a father of 4 kids and he is working full time. So, I don't know. It sounds like you're both in the same position. Whenever I heard someone start their rant with, I do everything, my immediate reaction was, yeah, so you do nothing and your other half does everything. Communication is extremely important for sure, but some people cannot be reasoned with because they are very my way or the highway, or else I must start yelling. So I doubt that is this lady's situation. I have no idea. Oh yeah, we don't like, because we're not getting her husband's side, so we don't really know what the situation is. But yeah, some people just are not good with communication at all. Some people you actually need like freaking, what is it? The intervention. It's time for an intervention. Also, how old are the kids? You have 4 of them. I'm sure one of them can take out the damn trash. Yeah, true. Like, unless you had kids back to back. Have your 15-year-old take out the trash or something. Teach them some responsibility. Thought she sounded non-confrontational, where you are so afraid of confrontation that you'd just assume the worst. Freaking Nightbot. Whatever happened to the strong, independent women thing? Not all women are like that. No. Like I said, she overreacted to minor issues, which typically means there's a bigger unaddressed issue going on, so who knows what's really happening. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's the thing, right? You let a bunch of little things get to you because you're not addressing the actual underlying problem. So, yeah, you have to figure out what the main issue is and tackle that. Big reactions to minor issues is often a sign of bigger problems. Yep. Yep. What if they're toddlers? Oh man, can you imagine trying to take care of 4 toddlers? Holy shit. That would be complete chaos. Hello, Warped. Welcome in. Welcome in. The overreacting to seemingly simple issues could be a sign of burnout. Yep, that's true. I mean, I think that is actually one of the points of if you look up like symptoms of burnout. Get them toddlers to work. Earn their keep. If they can move, they can work. Let's go. How else are they gonna have 10 years of experience by the time they're 25?
Dynamic in a marriage, and we have 4 kids that we're attempting to take care of, and I have a husband that works outside of the home for many hours every single week, presumably a full-time job, maybe more than that. My immediate thought would not be, how can I get my husband doing more work when he returns home? I would think, how can I lessen the work that I'm doing that doesn't have something to do with my kids so that I can take care of my kids while not feeling like something is being stolen from me or I'm being taken advantage of by my husband, because we know the natural role of women is going to be caring.
You're supposed to be working as a team, okay? Amala knows what's up.
Taking, nurturing, making sure the household is taken care of. So instead of asking my husband to do something that is not necessarily unnatural, but is a little less natural to him, maybe I can scale back some of those 1-hour Zoom calls that I'm charging people $250 for, and I can spend that time taking care of my kids. So I don't want to divorce my husband because he didn't take out the trash. I don't know.
He didn't take out the
That's
trash.
just me, though. But she has a certain energy in this video. I'm trying to picture if somebody more calmly was handing me this information, how would I take it? And I have a feeling I'd view it the same, but she is very on and that I'm like, okay. I have a feeling there's other things going on here. Now we're going to read some responses that are on X, because this did end up going viral on X for this poor woman, because she's going to not hear the end of it. This one says, Shashi says, women do not carry more of the work or mental load. We inflict more work and mental load onto ourselves and then get angry when others don't do the same. It is insane to be angry at someone else in our lives because they don't prioritize the way we think they should.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because she looked at the trash that her husband forgot to take out in the morning, or didn't because he was like, "Oh, I'm running late for work." And instead of being like, "Oh, okay, you can just do it later," she now is stressing because she's like, "Oh my god, now I have to do it." When no, you don't have to do it. You just leave it for him to do it later. I think the traditional lifestyle is really good, especially if you have kids, so long as the one that is at home is actually taking care of the house while the one who is making money is out. Then once the one who is out making money gets home, you both get to just relax and enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah. Yep. I don't think there's anything wrong with the traditional way that things were done. And it doesn't have to be the woman being the one at home. It can be the dad. The mom can be the one going out making the money, and the dad is the one at home. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Whoever is happy doing whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. When I was a kid, I was also put to work mostly fetching tools for when my family did large projects. Kids and relaxing, do those go together? If they're old enough. I'd be Mr. Clean if my wife made enough money so I didn't have to work. Yeah. For me, I don't care either way. If I have to be the breadwinner, and Jello stays home and takes care of the house, I don't care. Or if he goes to work and he's the breadwinner, then I stay home and take care of the house. I don't care either way. As long as we're both putting in, you know, equal value of stuff. So
I don't know that I necessarily agree with this. I think it's a give and take in relationships. A man's going to have his priorities and you are going to have your priorities, and that works fine and dandy when you don't have children. But when you do have children, your priorities do have to mix and
Yes.
mold with one another and become a sort of melting pot, and we have to figure out, first of all, what are the priorities to take care of our children, and then beyond that, you know, how do we take care of everything else that we have going on? And hopefully you can sustain a relationship throughout that. Now, of course, there are some ridiculous things that women may ask of men in a relationship, and there are ridiculous things that men may ask of women and want them to prioritize. I think it's about just giving and taking a little bit for
Yep.
each other while recognizing what your common goals are. I have a feeling she asks a lot, though. I don't know. I don't know what's telling me that. Maybe it was the 5-minute video complaining
Probably.
about possibly divorcing your husband, and then me getting to the end of that video and finding that he sounds like a perfectly normal, nice dude. Liz Wolfe says, slagging your spouse online for millions to see is classless and disrespectful, but also imagine feeling burnt out by running the household and taking care of 4 kids and believing that divorce is the optimal option versus scaling back /
Yeah,
quitting
then
your job.
then you would be alone. Then you would be alone. So then what the hell are you gonna do? Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. Oh my gosh. In all seriousness, if you want to do traditional, the balance for sure still needs to be there. Whatever partner working and making all the money, when they get home from work, they should take over kid duties at least most. Yeah, or when they get home from work, you share the duties. You share the duties until bedtime, and then that's your time to kind of like relax. Or you could even do it where the working partner gets home and you let them have maybe an hour or two to relax, and then they take over the kids so that you can have your time to relax, and then bedtime, and then you relax together. Whatever would work. I'm going to go to school to be a professional house husband. Hell yeah, let's go. I'm just thinking about the men who come home and refuse to lift a finger to spend any time whatsoever with his children because he wants to relax, because he was working all day. But what they forget is that their wife was working all day too, taking care of the kids. Yeah, cuz they get into this mindset where they're like, "Oh, well, she was home all day. What was she doing?" Meanwhile, I mean, okay, well, with 4 kids, maybe your day would be full. Maybe if you have 1 kid, you might get a bit of a break. It wouldn't be so much chaos, but like if you have a lot of kids, yeah. It has to be fair, it has to be equal.
My point exactly. It does seem like if her job is what it is proposed to be online, she has quite a bit of flexibility in scaling that back. Imagine you went through
Yeah,
this
that's
conversation with your husband and then decided to divorce him. So the struggle of taking care of a household with 4 kids while working at the same time, you just cut the husband out and allow your kids to grow up in a co-parenting situation where now they're going to be moved around 2 different households that are arguably not going to be running optimally, considering you guys couldn't seem to be doing that when you were both in the household according to your own standards. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And this is going to be the consistent conversation as women are working full time, as they're becoming more educated than men, as they are out earning men, and they're going to be expecting more from men. And while women are taking on male roles, they're going to look at men and say, why aren't you taking on the more feminine role so that we can have an equitable household? But we all know equity in practice, at least in other facets of our society,
biology
means that we really have to hold people under our thumb and get them to do specific things. It takes a lot of control and almost a soft totalitarianism of sorts in order to make things work equitably. And I can only imagine that's going to be the same if you're trying to do this within a marriage with 4 children. It seems like a breeding ground for resentment. And when that bubbles over, becomes a problem for the both of you, I don't know, but that's what I would be looking for down the line. Let's read some more. Rachel Wilson, oh, Rachel, I have feelings about this woman, but let's read it. The same women who make TikTok videos like this are the ones who get mad at me for saying they need to stay home and be mothers to their kids. Instead, they will complain that their husband isn't acting like a wife and send their kids to daycare. This is stupid. Yeah, I can't help but agree. And I wonder what her response to this would be. Maybe this woman would say, well, I find a lot of value in my career in teaching other women about the mental load, and that's why I don't want to give it up in order to take care of my kids. But then that seems like more of a you problem. Kids should be the number one priority, and specifically for a mother. And that's not to say that they aren't the number one priority for a father. It's just that he supports them in different ways.
Well, would you want him to give up his lineman job, which is probably bringing in a hell of a lot more money than your 1-hour consultations? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Typically. Richard Cooper responds, a woman's solipsism on full display. I wonder who takes care of the lawn, snow removal, sports,
oh my God, literally,
assembles furniture, home security, car maintenance, and watches the kids while she cackles with her wine-guzzling friends. Okay, Richard's mad.
Okay.
All of this over a dishwasher and taking out the garbage. Now, somebody responded to Richard and said, even when these guys try to disprove the basic feminist point, they always end up just confirming it. These things are all specific one-time projects rather than the repetitive daily tasks of domestic labor. Are you building furniture every night before bed? You know, I don't know. I think we've just kind of lost the plot on what men and women are supposed to be around each other for. And as we become more egalitarian, it's really...
I'm sorry, if you cut it down to the nitty-gritty, biologically women are built for being more nurturing and taking care of a household, and the men go out and fight and get us food and earn our living. So like, I don't know, down to the nitty-gritty, I feel like it's a little bit biologically, it kind of makes sense that, you know, men aren't really naturally cut out for all the things that women handle, just the same as women aren't naturally cut out to handle all the things that men would handle. You know what I mean?
Going to be interesting to see how we battle through this. I'm hearing a lot of women say things, you know, like, why do I even need a man if I can do all the things that a man can do? And men are
so you're not alone
looking for women, but don't know what that dynamic looks like and don't know how to assert their masculinity because there isn't much opportunity to do so. And I truly believe that women need men who are more masculine than they are, but they might be hard to come by in today's society because that masculinity is not rewarded. And it's because our survival instincts are not really working for us right now. If we were in a society where our survival actually was being challenged, the difference between men and women would be so stark and clear and so distinct that we would it
would literally be just what I said. The men would be the one out fighting and the women would be taking care of the kids. How long does it take to empty a dishwasher compared to mowing the lawn? True. Thank you, Sin. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I can't just put on. I want to like actually talk to you guys, have conversations, look things up when we want to and whatever. Katsuya, can you blast us back to the Stone Age, please? Just please, so it's easier. Personally, I would rather mow the lawn. Fair. That's fair. That's completely fair. Me, I don't mind doing the dishes. I find it a bit satisfying, actually. Their life is going to be great in about 10 years when the kids can do literally all of that. Yeah, right? They can just assign each kid. All right, Mike, you do the dishes. Joe, you do the lawn. Patricia, you do the laundry. Mary, you go pluck the weeds. There you go.
Need each other, and we would recognize how we benefit from one another. But because all of our survival needs are being met, we're looking outside of that to find more in one another, and we're having trouble piecing that together, which is why we're having conversations like this. What sticks out to me in this video the most is not only the extreme response to what are minute problems, but also this denial of the natural differences between men and women. As we become more equal in the way we lead our lives in society, I do not think we are becoming more equal in our nature. So if we cannot admit that there are fundamental differences between men and women, we are going to struggle trying to put a square peg in a circle hole and make a man act like a woman, and it's just not going to work. And of course, the fact that this woman would have sooner jumped to divorce and maybe taking on the natural response to this, which is stepping back from your career, not even quitting, just scaling back a little bit so that you can take care of your kids and make a household that is functioning better, should tell you everything you need to know about her mindset. I would be so curious to hear her husband's response to all of this and this whole mental load conversation that she's not only bestowed upon him, but upon other women as she's shilling this out on the internet for $250 for an hour conversation. But I have a feeling we will not be hearing from the husband and getting his take on how it has impacted his marriage. But guys, those are my thoughts. Drop your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Would love to hear from you guys. Is this grounds for divorce? Do you guys feel like you are carrying the mental load in your relationships? How do you struggle through that or overcome that? And how do marriages become successful when this is a problem that they are dealing with? Drop it in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye. Like and subscribe to Amala. After this, the husband has a means to a divorce. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Yeah, I wish there was a his side of the story, because holy shit. I would love to hear his side of the story. But yeah, that was that was interesting. It was interesting. I think that it's a pretty common problem to experience, and you really just have to work together with your spouse to get through it. It's not something worth divorcing over. Like, if you divorce over stuff like that, then you might as well just stay single, to be honest. I don't know, that's my opinion.